The scene opens in a futuristic alien school situated aboard a massive spaceship. The school's sleek, silver walls shimmer under the glow of artificial light, and the floors are made of smooth, polished metal. The students, a diverse group of aliens from different planets, sit in rows, their faces filled with curiosity and anticipation. They are gathered in the grand lecture hall of the Intergalactic Academy, where students from across the galaxy come to study the most complex and mysterious subjects. Today, however, something special is about to unfold. The instructor for the day is a seasoned alien professor known for his no-nonsense approach to teaching. He's tall and imposing, with pale blue skin and eyes that seem to pierce through anyone who dares to challenge him. His reputation as a teacher who doesn't sugarcoat the truth has earned him both respect and fear among his students. But despite his stern appearance, there's an air of intrigue about him today, one that suggests that this class will be unlike any other. As the students file into the classroom, the teacher stands at the front of the room, silently observing them. The buzz of conversation fades as the professor begins to speak. Today, he says, his voice deep and authoritative, we are going to discuss one of the most dangerous planets in the entire galaxy. It is a world known for its chaos, unpredictability, and unforgiving nature. A world that, for some unknown reason, has been deemed a death world. The term Deathworld hangs in the air, and immediately, the room goes silent. The students exchange puzzled glances. To them, it's a term they've heard before, but one they've never fully understood. Earth, as the teacher goes on to explain, is the planet in question. We are talking about Earth, the teacher continues, clicking a button on a sleek control panel beside him. A holographic image of the planet Earth flickers to life in the center of the room, rotating slowly as it hovers above a shiny metallic pedestal. The alien students look at it, intrigued, but many still don't understand why such a planet could be considered a death world. Earth, the teacher says, his tone filled with a sense of mystery, is a place that exists within the most chaotic and hostile environment imaginable. This planet's natural forces alone would drive most species to extinction. Yet despite this, humans, the dominant species on Earth, have survived, adapted, and flourished. One student, a young alien with green scales and sharp eyes, raises her hand, clearly skeptical. But how could any species survive such a place? Why would they even choose to live on a planet like that? The professor gives her a knowing smile, as if he's been waiting for this question. Ah, that is the crux of the mystery. Why would a species choose to live on a planet that seems hell-bent on destroying them? The answer is both simple and complex. You will find out today. The classroom is filled with hushed whispers. The students lean forward, eager to hear more. This is not the typical lesson on stellar evolution or galactic politics they're used to. There's something different about this topic, something that makes it more personal. The professor flicks his wrist, and the holographic display of Earth changes, showing images of massive violent storms. The students watch, mesmerized, as flashes of lightning tear through dark skies, and violent waves crash against towering cliffs. The images change again, showing images of earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and wildfires. The planet's surface is a constant battleground, where nature itself seems to rage against the inhabitants. The Earth is a planet of extremes, the professor continues. The weather alone is enough to make survival impossible for most species. Powerful storms, floods, fires, and earthquakes tear through the planet regularly. And yet, humans continue to live there. They build, they survive, and they thrive. The students look at each other in disbelief. On their homeworlds, such disasters would wipe out entire populations in an instant. But on Earth, humans don't just survive. They seem to embrace it, constantly adapting to whatever challenges the planet throws at them. But there is more, the professor adds, his tone growing darker. The planet is also home to dangerous creatures, many of which are capable of killing with ease. Some of these creatures are massive predators, and others are small but deadly. And yet, humans have not only survived these threats, they have learned to fight back. At this, the class falls completely silent. The students are stunned. Their knowledge of Earth's creatures has always been theoretical, stories told by their parents or professors about dangerous animals, but nothing that had ever felt so real. The professor's holographic display changes again, showing clips of humans battling large creatures, using weapons and tools to defend themselves. The humans appear determined, their faces filled with both fear and resolve. It's clear that Earth's creatures are no ordinary beasts. They are a direct threat to the survival of humanity. The students are taken aback, some of them even feeling a hint of fear themselves. For the first time, they realize that Earth is not like any planet they have ever encountered. It is a world where danger lurks at every corner, and where survival isn't just about intelligence. It's about strength, willpower, and resilience. The professor watches the students closely, gauging their reactions. He knows that he has their attention now. This, he says, pointing at the image of Earth, is why Earth is called a Deathworld. Not because it's a planet filled with death, but because it's a place where life has to fight, constantly. It's a world where only the strong survive, and only the most adaptable thrive. A murmur of awe spreads across the classroom. The students, once skeptical, are now fully engaged. They've begun to realize that Earth's reputation as a death world is not just a myth or a tale from ancient times. It's a hard-earned truth, forged by the planet's very nature. The professor pauses for a moment, letting the weight of his words sink in. He knows that this lesson will leave a lasting impact on these young minds, as they will never look at Earth the same way again. Now, he says, his voice growing quieter, you may wonder, if Earth is so dangerous, why do humans continue to live there? Why do they choose to stay on a planet that constantly challenges their very existence? That, my students, is what we will explore next. For now, remember this: Earth is not just a death world. It is a world where life constantly fights back, no matter the cost. With that, the screen goes dark, and the students sit in stunned silence. They are not just learning about Earth, they are beginning to understand the raw power of survival. The story has only just begun, and already they are captivated by the mysterious planet known as Earth. The students, still reeling from the shocking revelation of Earth's death world status, lean forward in their seats, eyes wide with curiosity and disbelief. The teacher, sensing their rising intrigue, begins to unveil the deeper truths about this planet, truths that no one could have prepared them for. As he gestures toward the holographic display, it flickers and changes, showing the students the raw, untamed power of Earth's natural forces. Now that you have seen the chaos that shapes this world, the professor begins, his voice carrying a somber tone. Let us take a closer look at why Earth is so dangerous. What truly makes it the death world that the entire galaxy fears? The students stare at the large projection, now showing vast, uncontrollable hurricanes sweeping across the planet's surface. The wind howls with terrifying intensity, and the clouds swirl in violent, chaotic patterns. The sheer power of nature is displayed in ways the students had never witnessed before. The images show entire cities submerged underwater, buildings ripped apart, and the sky blackened by fierce storms. One particular storm stands out, a massive hurricane that dwarfs everything in its path. The sheer scale of the storm is unfathomable to the alien students. Earth's weather is a force of nature, the professor explains, unpredictable, violent, and capable of destroying everything in its path. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, and floods are common occurrences, with no warning and no mercy. This planet is a battleground between the elements and the creatures that call it home. The students are stunned. To them, such power was unimaginable. Their own planets, peaceful and orderly, never experienced such disasters. They had read about such phenomena, but seeing the devastation in real time was an entirely different experience. One young alien, a boy with wide yellow eyes and pale, gray skin, shudders slightly. "How do humans survive something like that?" he whispers. The professor gives a slow, knowing smile. "That," he says, "is the true mystery of Earth." How do they survive? The answer lies not just in their physical strength, but in their will to adapt and overcome. With a tap of his fingers, the professor changes the hologram again. This time, the images show wildfires raging through dense forests, consuming everything in their path. The flames leap high into the air, and the smoke chokes the sky, turning it a deep, fiery orange. The destruction is overwhelming. Mountains, forests, and even entire regions are reduced to ash in mere hours. These fires, the professor continues, are another example of Earth's violent unpredictability. Wildfires are a natural part of the ecosystem, but they're devastating to humans. The land that seems so beautiful and full of life, one moment can turn into an inferno the next. But despite the danger, humans have learned to live with it. He gestures toward the screen, showing humans fighting back against the fires. Firefighters risk their lives to save others, while communities come together to rebuild in the aftermath. The students are amazed by the resilience of these creatures. It's not just about surviving. It's about fighting for survival in the most extreme conditions. One of the students, a young alien with a smooth, silver face, speaks up. "Are all humans this strong?" The professor nods gravely. Not just strong, but incredibly resilient. The planet itself is constantly trying to destroy them, yet they continue to survive. It's their ability to adapt that makes them so formidable. The display changes again, showing images of the human species battling another natural force. Earthquakes. Massive tremors shake the ground, causing buildings to collapse and roads to split open. The earth beneath the humans' feet seems to tear apart, swallowing everything in its path. Yet, humans are shown working together, helping each other, rebuilding from the ruins. The alien students watch as people rescue each other from beneath the rubble, their faces determined and hopeful. Earthquakes are a frequent and deadly hazard, the professor explains. They can strike at any moment, without warning. Entire cities can be destroyed in seconds, and yet humans do not run or hide. They rebuild, they fight back, and they continue to live. The students are silent now, absorbed by the magnitude of what they are witnessing. They had never seen such determination in any species, let alone one that faced such overwhelming odds. They begin to understand the true nature of Earth, not just as a planet of death, but as a world where life fights back with everything it has. Earth, the professor continues, is a world where everything is in a constant struggle for survival. But the dangers are not just external. There are also creatures, predators, that threaten humanity's existence. The hologram shifts once again, showing footage of wild, dangerous animals that roam the planet. Some of them are large, like massive lions and bears, while others are small, but equally lethal. The students watch as humans deal with these creatures, using tools and weapons to defend themselves. There are moments of tension as humans are shown in life or death struggles with these animals, but in every instance, the humans rise to the challenge. This is Earth's ultimate paradox, the professor says, a planet full of dangers, but also full of life. A world where survival is never guaranteed, but where the human spirit refuses to give up, no matter the threat. The class is silent. The aliens who had once viewed Earth as a primitive, insignificant world now begin to understand the true meaning of its reputation. The Deathworld label was not given lightly. Earth is a place where survival is a constant battle, a place where nature itself seems intent on wiping out all life, yet humanity continues to endure. The professor has opened their eyes to something they never could have imagined. As the lecture draws to a close, the professor gives one final piece of wisdom. You see, Earth is not just dangerous because of its environment. It is dangerous because of what it creates, a species capable of surviving everything, no matter how deadly. And that, he says with a smile, is why Earth is a death world. The students sit in stunned silence, trying to process everything they've just learned. They came to this class thinking they would learn about a strange, distant planet, but they are leaving with a deep respect for the inhabitants of that world. They have witnessed the unyielding spirit of humanity and the harsh reality of life on Earth. They now understand what it means to truly fight for survival. As the class ends, the students leave the room, their minds buzzing with new knowledge. They can't stop thinking about Earth, its dangers, and the humans who call it home. The mysterious class has changed them forever. The harsh reality of Earth is no longer just a concept. It's a living, breathing lesson that they will never forget. As the alien students continue to process the overwhelming information about Earth's dangerous environment, the professor shifts the focus of the lesson. He gestures for the hologram to change once more, and the screen before them now shows images not of Earth's deadly storms or creatures, but of humans, fragile yet resilient beings who fight against these overwhelming odds every day. Now the professor begins, his voice softer but filled with a deep respect. You've seen the danger. You've witnessed the raw power of Earth's natural forces. But what you must understand, the true heart of Earth's struggle, lies not in the planet itself. It lies within its people, the humans. The students, who had once seen humanity as primitive and weak, are now starting to question everything they thought they knew. The idea that humans could endure such horrors and still survive seems impossible. Yet here they are, learning that survival on Earth is not simply about battling nature. It's about the will to survive in the face of constant hardship, loss, and tragedy. The holographic images flicker again, and now the screen displays humans in their most vulnerable moments. The students watch, spellbound, as the professor explains. Humans live in a world where suffering is a constant. They fight not only against the physical dangers of their environment, but also against the struggles within their own hearts and minds. The screen shows humans in the aftermath of a disaster. Houses reduced to rubble, streets filled with debris, and families mourning lost loved ones. The images are raw and heartbreaking. Yet there is a glimmer of something extraordinary. The humans, despite everything they've lost, are coming together. They are helping one another, rebuilding what was destroyed, and comforting each other through the pain. These moments of devastation, the professor continues, are not rare on Earth. Humans experience loss constantly, yet they do not crumble. They rebuild. They push forward. They heal. It is this inner strength that has allowed them to survive, time and time again, even when the world seems determined to destroy them. The students are silent, their eyes wide as they watch the humans in these moments of hardship. They see the tears, the grief, but also the unspoken strength that drives the humans to keep going. The professor taps his console, and the screen changes again, this time showing humans in the midst of great struggle, battling disease, fighting wars, facing economic hardships. But in every situation, no matter the challenge, there is always an underlying theme: resilience. Humans are not just surviving because they are strong physically. The professor says they are surviving because their spirit refuses to break. They are capable of great sacrifice and selflessness. In the darkest times, they show the true meaning of strength. The next set of images shows humans who have suffered immense loss. War veterans, families who have lost loved ones in natural disasters, and communities devastated by disease. And yet these humans do not give up. They fight to honor the memory of those they have lost. They build new lives out of the ruins of their past. The professor pauses and allows the images to sink in. One of the most powerful aspects of humanity is their ability to adapt, the professor says, his voice reverberating through the silent classroom. They don't just fight against the physical dangers of their world. They fight against their own fears, doubts, and pain. When faced with loss, they do not turn away from it. Instead, they face it head-on, learning to live with their grief and turn it into strength. The students are visibly moved, their eyes wide with a new understanding of what it means to be human. They had expected to learn about Earth's deadly environment and how humans fight against it. But what they had not anticipated was the depth of the human spirit, the unwavering determination to rise from the ashes of suffering again and again. The professor changes the screen one last time, showing a series of images that depict the human drive to improve, even in the most difficult circumstances. Humans invent, they create, they innovate. From technological advancements to social movements, humans are constantly striving to make their world a better place. The students watch in awe as humans, despite the constant dangers of their environment, continue to build and grow, never fully defeated by the hardships they face. They do not just fight to survive, the professor concludes. They fight to make a difference. They fight to leave the world better than they found it. This is the heart of their struggle. It is not just about overcoming nature, but about creating a future, no matter how dark the present may seem. The students are silent for a moment, each of them deep in thought. For the first time, they realize that Earth's reputation as a death world is not simply a reflection of the dangers it holds. It is a reflection of the human's ability to rise above those dangers. They understand now that Earth is not just a place of destruction, but a place of incredible resilience and hope. Humanity's struggle is not one of weakness, but one of unmatched strength. The professor watches as the students process what they've just learned. The class, once filled with doubt and skepticism, is now filled with respect. The students no longer view Earth as a primitive, dangerous planet, but as a world that has given birth to a species capable of surviving against all odds. They now see humanity not as victims of their environment, but as warriors, individuals who, despite everything stacked against them, continue to fight for a future they believe in. As the professor concludes the lesson, he gives them a final piece of advice. You have seen the dangers of Earth. You have seen the struggles of its people. But remember this, my students, the true strength of humanity lies not in their ability to conquer the world around them, but in their ability to endure and rise above the challenges life throws at them. It is this strength, this heart, that makes them truly remarkable. With those words, the class ends. The students file out of the room, their minds forever change. They came to learn about Earth's deadly reputation, but they leave with a deep respect for the humans who call it home. The heart of humanity's struggle has been revealed to them, and it is a lesson they will carry with them forever. The students leave the lecture hall in silence. Their minds are buzzing, overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of what they've just learned. As they walk down the long corridors of the spaceship, their footsteps echo in the emptiness, a stark contrast to the storm of thoughts racing through their heads. The images of Earth, the storms, the fires, the earthquakes, and the humans enduring all of it, are burned into their memories. They had come to class expecting to learn about a dangerous backward planet, but what they had discovered was far more complex than they could have ever imagined. The aliens who had once viewed Earth as nothing more than a chaotic and hostile world now see it through a different lens. They had learned that Earth was not simply a place of danger. It was a place where life itself was a struggle that had given rise to a species unlike any other. Humans were not just survivors. They were warriors in a never-ending battle against the forces that sought to destroy them. The students, once skeptical of Earth's so-called reputation, now understood why this death world had earned its name. One of the students, a young alien with transparent skin and glowing green eyes, breaks the silence. "I never thought about it like this before," he says, his voice filled with wonder. "I always thought Earth was just a dangerous place, full of destructive forces and deadly creatures. But now I see that it's the people who make Earth truly unique. They fight every single day, and they keep going, no matter how hard it gets." His words hang in the air as the others nod in agreement. A sense of respect is growing within them. They had learned about the human spirit, not just their survival skills, but their unwavering determination to rise above every challenge. The class had revealed a side of humanity they had never seen before. They no longer saw the humans as helpless creatures, constantly at the mercy of the planet's dangers. Instead, they saw them as warriors, beings who fought against not only nature but also their own limitations and fears. As they continue walking, the alien student who had asked the first question during the class, the one with the sharp yellow eyes, speaks up. "So, what does this mean for us?" she asks, her tone serious. "Are we supposed to learn from this? How do we understand our own struggles in comparison to what humans go through?" The professor, who had been walking just behind them, steps forward, his presence calm and reassuring. "What you must understand," he begins, "is that every world has its own challenges. No species is exempt from hardship, but it is how you face those challenges that defines your true strength. Humanity on Earth has learned to endure what would have destroyed many other species. They've shown us that survival is not just about physical strength, but about the will to persist, to keep fighting, and to find hope even when the world seems dark." The students absorb his words, each one reflecting on what they've learned. They realize that they, too, face struggles on their own worlds, struggles that, in many ways, are similar to what humanity faces. The challenges may be different in nature, but the fight is the same. The struggle for survival, for meaning, for progress, is universal. As they continue their walk, the young alien with transparent skin and glowing eyes speaks again. "Humans don't just survive, they thrive. They don't wait for the dangers to pass, they face them head-on. And when the world takes something from them, they'd rebuild. I never thought I'd say this, but I have a newfound respect for them." His words resonate with the others, and one by one, they begin to speak of their own reflections. "They have so much courage," another student says, his voice tinged with admiration. "They don't run from danger. They face it, they fight it, and they never give up." The professor, walking alongside them, nods. "Exactly. It is not just Earth's dangerous environment that makes it a death world. It is the way its inhabitants rise above the dangers. They have learned to adapt, to evolve, and to survive, not just against the physical threats, but against their own fears and doubts. That is what makes humanity so remarkable." The group pauses as they reach the observation deck of the spaceship, where they can look out into the vastness of space. The stars twinkle in the distance, and the planet Earth hangs in the void below, a pale blue dot surrounded by the darkness of space. It is beautiful, and for the first time, the alien students see it not as a chaotic world of destruction, but as a place where life, fragile, yet incredibly strong, fights to survive. One of the students, a tall alien with smooth silver skin, steps forward and gazes at Earth. "I see it now," she says softly, almost to herself. "I see why Earth is called a death world. But I also see why it deserves to be called something else. It deserves to be called a world of hope, a world of strength. The humans are not victims of their world. They are warriors, facing the world's dangers with everything they have." The professor looks at his students, proud of the transformation they've gone through during this lesson. They came into this class thinking they would leave with an answer about why Earth was dangerous. But what they're leaving with is so much more. An understanding of what it truly means to fight for survival and to find strength in the face of adversity. "Remember this," the professor says, turning to face the group. "Every world, every species, faces its own struggles. Earth is a place of constant danger, but it is also a place of unimaginable resilience. That is something all of you can learn from. The key is not in avoiding hardship, but in learning to rise above it, to adapt, and to keep moving forward." The students stand in silence for a moment, each of them lost in their thoughts. The professor's words sink in deeply, and they feel a sense of respect for Earth and its inhabitants that they never thought possible. They now understand why Earth is known as a death world. But they also understand that it is a place where life constantly battles against the odds. And that is what makes it a world worth respecting. As they turn to leave, their hearts are heavy with a new understanding. They will never look at Earth the same way again. They will always remember the humans who survived, thrived, and fought for a future in the face of a world that seemed determined to destroy them. And in that respect, they realize the humans of Earth are not so different from themselves.